Welcome, everyone. I'm Zsuzsa Kecsmar from Antavo, Chief Strategy Officer and co-founder, and welcome to the launch webinar of the Global Customer Loyalty Report. I have this here with me. It's a bit worn copy already because I've opened it so many times, and I use it actually every day since we printed it, which was I think 7 days ago. This become the report of the industry. And the reason why we are here today is to share the latest numbers with you in this report, this 2024 report. And the whole purpose of this report is help you convince the right people and then make sure that you make the good decisions. And whoever you need to convince, if that's your board, if that's your management, if that's your head of loyalty or your team, we wanted to help you with the answers because we wanted to collect what the industry thinks about loyalty programs, about replatforming, revamping, and the trends and strategies. So if you just joined, I already told at the beginning that 1,500 people signed up to this webinar, and we made sure that our GoToWebinar is able to handle that. So let's dive in. This is the 3rd year we are doing this, and this is the evolution of the report. And then if you see this last one, we wanted to be very culturally relevant these days because the cover was created by AI. We wrote haikus with our own AI. And then if you can see the flowing Barbie hair of our astronaut, it's very much on spot too. I would like to introduce you, the people on the call with me. You may already know me. I'm Zsuzsa Kecsmar, Chief Strategy Officer and co-founder at Antavo. But I would like James and Andreanne to tell a bit about themselves. James, what if you continued?
Thanks, Zsuzsa, and it's great to be here today, and thanks to everyone who's joined. So I'm James Baker, Head of Strategy at VML Consulting, previously known as Wyndham & Thompson. I have the pleasure of leading a lot of the loyalty work that we do out of our London office across UK and global clients, and focus on everything from sort of the external facing customer proposition through to the internal organizational structure in order to deliver loyalty programs effectively. Andreanne, over to you.
Great, thank you very much. So thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Very excited to be here because it's the 3rd year in a row that we're here to present the results of months of works that led to this year report. So my name is Andreanne Rondeau, loyalty specialist and founder of stratLX. We are a loyalty consulting agency based in Canada. We focus working with brands to help them build relationship with their customer by providing both the strategic and the operational support to develop, to implement, and optimize customer loyalty strategies.
Thank you, James and Andreanne, and let's see what we are going to do today. So first of all, we will present you the numbers from the Global Customer Loyalty Report. We divided it into 3 sections. First, if you're planning to launch a loyalty program. Second, if you're planning to revamp a loyalty program. The 3rd is about future trends and strategies. And after that, we will have a 10-minute Q&A. We already received a couple of questions, which are so nice, and I'm sure that we will not have enough time to answer all the questions in 10 minutes, but it shouldn't stop you from asking them because we will answer every single one of them. As a team effort, we will get back to you and provide with the greatest resources to have your question answered, because like collectively, I think like WPP, Wyndham & Thompson, stratLX and Antavo, we do have the answer for that, I'm sure, whatever question you will ask. How to ask this question? So on your right, there is this GoToWebinar panel, and there is this part where you can ask the question if you open down this questions panel, and then you can type the question there, and then we will receive it. All the rest of the people on this call, they will not receive it, but we will receive it, and then we will see and answer it. And then after that, for those who will be interested, we will do an Antavo platform intro. My colleague will join us, and then he will guide us through what Antavo does and how we can help. Antavo is the company that I'm co-founder of, and then we are a loyalty management platform. So we are the tech behind loyalty programs. So if I go to the next slide, I wanted to share with you how we produce this report. Adrian mentioned that it's been months that we are working on it, and it's because we analyzed 30 million member action data from the loyalty programs that run on Antavo. We also conducted a survey in September, October, and there were 600 respondents, which again, we doubled the number from last year. So it's loyalty leaders, CRM leaders, marketing leaders gave their answers to our questions around customer loyalty and loyalty programs. And also we conducted 1,500 minutes of interviews, qualitative interviews with 50 industry experts, who you will see in the next slide. But before, I wanted to tell you that VML, Prague, and then EPAM were also key partners in creating this report. James from VML, for example. This is our team at Antavo. We are a 100 people company with these customers, like KFC, BMW, Benefit, Lacage, or Kathmandu. And I told you that that's technology that we do. And then here are the 50 people who we interviewed in a qualitative interview. I know that many of these people are here on this call today. I also wanted to give you a glimpse into this report that actually you will receive in, I think, half an hour. So before the end of this webinar, it will land in your inbox. This is not only very smart, but it's also very beautiful. And I really love how we are able to create this beautiful imagery. And of course, with all the other contributors from the industry. Okay, so I would like to start with a poll. And then this is the first one. How are you planning to adjust your investments in customer retention for the upcoming year? Please answer this question. Now you just need to click one of these. And then I see that the numbers are coming in. So this is my question. How are you planning to adjust your investment in customer retention? Will it be the same? Will you increase it? Will you decrease it? Now I'm closing the poll and then sharing the results. It seems that 2/3 of the people would like to increase it, and then 1/3 would like to keep the same. I know it's already 3/3, but it's a very little who would like to actually decrease it. I wanted to ask you this question because I wanted to set the scene on what we learned. And we asked this question a bit differently, but the idea is here on the right, that 2 times more companies want to increase investment in retention, in customer retention, than in acquisition. Retention is the new black. And we see this since 2020 when COVID hit, when everyone just got really scared. Okay, what's going to happen now? Where our existing customers, like we need a way to reach them. This was, I think, an inflection point, not only in the word and loyalty programs, but also in the life of our own company. So this interest really grow at that time. Also, there is this other trend from Gartner. 1 in 3 businesses without a loyalty program will establish one by 2027. That's their prediction. Their prediction is, and then what you can see here is that your competitors are thinking about this. You on this webinar is thinking about how to differentiate yourself and launch a loyalty program. Okay, so these are our 3 topics today, and we're starting with how to think of loyalty trends if you're planning to launch a program. This is our first number. Companies are willing to spend on loyalty, investing 27% of their marketing budget. It means that businesses keep investing in loyalty marketing in their existing customers. This is like pretty close to what we had last year. Next number is that loyalty programs are useful in the downturn. And then 81% of the respondents confirmed it. And the downturn is similar to a crisis like a COVID crisis. This loyalty program can help to make your company more crisis proof, because we've seen this in the previous years too, when we asked people about their responses related to the pandemic. And my next number is that the positive ROI is the norm. 9 out of 10 companies has a positive ROI, and it actually grew because last year it was 8. And then I've seen it at other predictions too, that this was the year, last year, 23 was the year when loyalty programs were about really ROI and making it worth. You can see more on page 29 in this current report. And then ROI is not only positive, but it's high too. So those companies who measure it and they have positive ROI, they have really, really great experiences because they have like 5 times of the return compared to what they invest. So how we can take action? I would like to ask Andreanne to give us some advice first.
Yeah, I think the first advice I'm going to give, and this might seem a bit straightforward, but is to define clear objectives. As a business, when you launch or you want to implement a loyalty program, you need to understand what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve. So well-defined objectives will drive the strategy first. It will allow you to measure success and obviously hold team accountables as well. So when you define these objectives, it's important to consider both the financial and the non-financial KPIs, and they are thinking about what data you want to collect, what specific customer behavior you want to encourage, and then think and put your target customer at the center of this process. You need to identify their problems and their need first, and then you can build a loyalty program that will solve these and that will drive obviously value to them, but also value for the business. Also very important, I think that loyalty objectives should never operate in silo. We see that often. They must align with and they must contribute to the overall business objective, because this alignment is key, first to gain support from long-term commitment from the top level management. And then second advice would be to measure, to adapt, and to evolve your loyalty program continuously. Launching program is not a set and forget. I think everybody has heard that. There are probably, I think, too many companies that are launching their loyalty program with a clear roadmap and vision for the future. So the program must make sure you need to make sure that you innovate, that you keep evolving over time to stay up to date, to adapt to what customers are expecting. So it's very crucial to monitor your program performance based on the objectives that we just talked about, that you defined, and then track customer interaction and feedback to that.
Thank you, Andreanne. Number 3 is for you, James.
Thanks. And I think what's really key, and Andreanne touched on a little bit, is that loyalty shouldn't be thought of as a siloed and separate go-to-market proposition. Loyalty really needs to sort of enhance what you already do as a brand and what customers already love you for, i.e. that unique selling point. The best loyalty programs start by focusing on that one question, which is what problem can we solve for customers? And it's important to think around the holistic offering of your organization and not to think of loyalty as that separate piece. So if we can understand what our unique selling point is to customers, we can start to leverage that and then think around how do we encompass and embed it into our loyalty proposition. Then from the final and the sort of fourth action to take, what's really important is to outline a mutually beneficial value exchange. And if you read sort of the report in this section that I've written, I talk around value exchange a lot. And what's really important here is we need to answer that question around what is the problem to solve for our customers. And we need to ensure that we create benefits and mechanics within the loyalty program that satisfy that. But also, in order to keep investing in our program and to ensure that we deliver long-term success and return on investment, we need to ensure that it's also a viable business solution. We then need to think around how do we organize ourselves internally to maximize that return on investment by having the right people working in the right ways upon the right technology. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later on.
Thank you, James. We just heard about Andreanne, about having all the internal buy-in and all the people. So how important it is that the right team handles the loyalty program, and then you are able to convince everyone in the organization that it's really important. Okay, so we came after the first topic to the second one. What are the numbers that we learned if you're planning to revamp a loyalty program? First, let's go to a poll. We wanted to do a poll here because we asked about product preferences, like what is that you consider important in a loyalty platform. And we asked this question, and I'm going to show you the answers in a second. Now, we are asking this in a bit different way. And then please answer. It really will help us to think of our own product, and it will be like a nice mirror to everyone about what is really important in loyalty management platforms in the technology. So which of the following is the most important for you when considering a loyalty platform? It's implementation, the number of integrations, it's the intuitive and usable platform itself, Number 3 or 4 is flexibility to create those loyalty journeys that you want. And the 5th is if that platform is innovative and then cover these new aspects of loyalty management. So I'm closing the poll now and sharing the results. Well, flexibility to create loyalty journeys, very nice. Okay, thank you for that. I'm sharing the presentation again. So as I told you, we asked this question in a bit different way back in September, October, when we conducted our survey. And then we had different options. And out of those options, easy integration was the most valuable aspect. And after easy to integrate, the second was customizable. Customizable and flexible are quite similar in this respect. Companies who want to revamp, their number grew. Back in 22, it is 7 out of 10. In 23, it was 8 out of 10. And now it's 9 out of 10 companies with a loyalty program would like to revamp. Revamp means that they would like to meaningfully adjust their strategy. So there is a lot of movement. There are so many ambitious people in our industry who is really seeing the value in their loyalty program and then would like to make a change to get ahead. And it's interesting that almost 7 out of 10 would like to replatform and revamp together. Replatforming is when you change the technology behind the loyalty program. And then we see this too in our everyday work, that oftentimes they just want to do a big change, and that involves strategy and technology. So if you are considering that, you are not alone with that. And then we also wanted to ask this question, how are people actually doing? Because, you know, we see this big ambition in the past years that yes, they want to revamp. And this number proves that they actually took action. 6 out of 10 companies have already revamped in the past 2 years. And then this brings us to our advices from Andreanne and James. And James, now this is your turn. What are your advices how to take action for those who want to replatform and revamp?
Yes, thanks. So building a little bit on what you were saying there, Zsuzsa, I think identifying the right platform is really key when thinking around revamping. As the loyalty market continues to become more and more saturated, but also more sophisticated, brands are really going to need to think around what is the unique value proposition and the benefits that they can offer to their customers. And this is often much easier said than done. Loyalty programs and the technology
that James talks about it
is often, well, should really be the enabler. Technology should be the enabler of the program, but actually a lot of the time what we've seen over the last couple of years is it sits as a blocker instead. And it's really important as you think around what role you want to have in your customers' sort of day-to-day demand occasions. We need to think around, does the technology support that? Are we collecting the right insights? Are we enabling the individuals working with the platform to get valuable insights from the data, and building a little bit on what we heard from the poll there? And as we start to map out what it is that we want that end state of the program to be, we also need to think around, do we have a complementary technology solution? And if not, then we need to think around how do we revamp that platform itself. Then, as well as the technology, when we think around sort of an operating model, we also need to think, what are the people, the process, and the data that we're collecting, and how do those 4 enablers come together to provide the foundation for the loyalty program? And historically, as we've already mentioned, loyalty is often sort of sat in a little bit of a silo in many organizations, but that's changing a lot, and we're seeing that really sort of quickly change, and it being much more front and center of an organization. And therefore, in order to create the program and the platform you build it on, you need the expert who can understand how to manipulate and leverage that data to start tweaking and evolving your program to improve the offering to end customers, and again, to maximize the value exchange that you're offering to those customers, as well as what you're achieving internally as a business.
If this value exchange is great, you can even charge for it. We will talk about it later, for example, at the paid loyalty programs. Go ahead, Andreanne, with number 3.
Yeah, so we've talked a lot about technology. I'm going to say it, but loyalty, I think, is not about technology. It is required, but it's not about technology. It's all about your customers. So what they want from you, what you want from them. That's what you need to keep in mind. And James talked about it. It's about like defining what you want to do. So before you start seeking any technology, I agree that you need to know what you want to achieve, because otherwise what might end up is you may also not delivering the right experience, so you'll have the wrong experience and totally miss your goal. So the strategy is the what, and then I think you also need to define the how, and the how are your requirements. So defining requirements will involve like many stakeholders across the company, because launching a program, it's not just a CRM initiative, it's not a marketing project, it's an overall business initiative. So it will impact, launching the program will impact processes across the whole business. So that's why it's key to have all departments take part of the requirement definition process with that clear strategy, clear requirements. That will then put you in a good position to look for the technology, sorry, and then allow you to potentially get a much smoother project, stay on budget, stay on deadline as well. And then next and final, the crucial part is the business case. I think there's 1,000 reasons why a business case is essential to any loyalty project. It's kind of the foundation that outlines what the program will be, its purpose, its objective, the expected outcome. So when you work on your business case, obviously it includes an ROI, crucial to make sure that your program is viable, profitable, but also like metrics and KPIs to be able to measure the performance and the impact on bottom line. And I would say that building the business case, I find this exercise very interesting, because it forced people internally from all departments to ask questions about what resources will be required, what funds will be required to implement and to run the program. And then this exercise is key, because all of these processes have cost, and some will actually come as a surprise if you're not well prepared with a solid business case.
I'm smiling, Adrienne, because you find building a business case very interesting and even fun. I know that, because you know how to do it. So that's really, really nice. And this is why it's sometimes worth to hire people outside of the organization who are really experts in like building a business case related to loyalty programs to give their perspective. So we talked about numbers for launching new programs, numbers about those who want to revamp, and we came to our third topic, which is about future trends and strategies. Oopsie, I didn't want to click twice. I just wanted to click once. So this is what I wanted to show you. New loyalty programs will be more emotional than rational. So these are the two extremes. A rational loyalty program is the earn and burn, spend $1, earn a point, the kind of loyalty program that exists for 100 years. Emotional loyalty programs reward other things like purchases. Then they reward if you work out, if you recycle, even if you surf, like one of our customers, Rip Crow, it's surf to earn. And it's not only on the earn side, but also on the burn side. So it's not only for coupons, it's also for experiences or early access. So like a company talking to you like a person and not just like a customer. This is what will happen if you help grow emotional loyalty. And according to our research, 52% want an emotional loyalty program. You will find so much more details in the report around these numbers. And this brings us to our third and last poll, which is about paid loyalty programs. So let me launch this poll now, and our question is, do you plan to have paid or premium elements in your loyalty program? I'm very curious about what this committed crowd in this webinar thinks about this topic. We will have numbers related to this in the report too. That might be slightly different. I think very enthusiastic and committed people are here, so that may be a cause for a difference. Oh, and yes, so according to you, a bit less than half would like to have premium elements in their loyalty program, and then a bit more than half would not want to have premium or paid elements in their loyalty program. Now, let's see what is our number from our research. So according to our findings, 26% wants to launch one. And then I was right with the enthusiastic people on this call, who I'm sure are very committed and want to use the latest strategies. It's a fact that premium loyalty programs are on the rise. And we dedicated like a whole big section to that. And we brought the example of Pret-a-Manger, which is a franchise of great fast food. And they have this Club Pret, a loyalty program, which works really, really well. So that's about premium loyalty programs. Our next number is about micro-targeting. And 87% thinks that this is a great opportunity. And I think that it's really worthwhile to read more about this. It's on page 45. We listed numbers and ideas what micro-targeting is for different industries like beauty, bars, luxury brands, sportswear, automobile, health, hospitality, banking, and finance. And the reason why it's so popular, because it doesn't cost much, but it can make an impact. You just need to be very smart and know your customers. And this is what matters with micro-targeting. How we can take action to be on trend and use these latest strategies. Andreanne, your turn.
Yeah, so there's a whole section in the report also about diversifying reward options, so offering multiple reward options. It came out very, very strong in the survey because it's a strategy that can increase customer satisfaction and retention. And we also see that it offers great benefit for the cost. We've even learned from the analysis that customers who redeem personalized offers spend 4.3 times more than those who don't. There's multiple reports also, if you look on the market, that have shown that reward redemption increased member engagement. So to encourage redemption, like reward must be appealing to your target customer. So everyone has an opinion about loyalty program and reward specifically. Most often it's based on their personal experience. But you have to keep in mind that what works for you personally might not be the same for your customer, and even what your competitors are doing may not be the right fit for your customer and for your brand. So the report, like I said, whole section on it, it outlines popular reward that we see in different programs. I think it's a great place to start for inspiration, but you should never hesitate to test before you implement, question your customer, do some research with them as well, because I think that reward, and we're talking about how business case is fun, but reward is definitely a fun part. So you can definitely be creative with that. And then, so we talked a lot about business investment, loyalty, from strategy to technology. All of that obviously have related costs. We know the market is a little bit difficult at the moment. So even if we know that loyalty will generate a positive ROI, you need to make that initial investment. And unless you have unlimited budget, well, you need to make choices for those investments. So I think that while, yes, acquisition and acquiring new customers is important, retaining existing one, building emotional and long-term loyalty deliver much more benefit to both the customer and the brand. So shifting funds from acquisition to retention can make a lot of sense. I just go back to one of probably the most popular stats that we see in the loyalty world is how retaining a customer is much cheaper than acquiring a new one. So when you can demonstrate that in your business case with your numbers, and when you can show that in your performance analysis, it's very, very compelling for upper management, and that will definitely support that shift in business towards loyalty and retention.
Thank you, Andreanne. This is your turn, James.
Thanks. So for me, it's all around creating that sort of single route into a brand and all of the experiences that are encompassed within. And that for me is a sort of connected ecosystem. And as I mentioned earlier, programs are becoming more complex. There's more benefits. We're talking around the emotional and the rational side, how they're coming together, the complexity when we start putting tiers in, earn and burn. There's so many different options, yet customers really want simplicity, whether it be the in-store experience, the online experience, and that experience is the key factor for why people often choose one brand over another. Therefore, an omni-channel experience harnessed via that single door with two explore a whole brand's portfolio and everything they have to offer to really deliver that seamless customer experience. And it's important to then understand the different audience segments that you serve, how they will each experience the different benefits that you have, to ensure that you create ways to keep them engaged, to ensure that you sort of emphasize the things that and the problems that you're trying to solve for them, and that you create that level of personalization that people expect from companies nowadays. Moreover, I think the best programs deliver joy, and this often comes from uncovering new things within a brand that you didn't necessarily know that they offered. And another way to do this, and how the single connected ecosystem can offer help, is by developing strong partnerships. This enables you to keep that sort of USP, what you're known for, but then complement a customer's experience by owning more of those demand occasions, by having a complementary company work with you, offer other benefits and rewards to your customers, and do the same for them. And by having that single door, you can create that seamless experience. You can have that consistent messaging that you have as an organization, but then complement it in a really interesting and elevated way for your customers, so they get more value from the relationship that they have with you. And again, going back to it, it's a mutually beneficial value exchange. It requires less from you when you start to partner, and it means you can give your customers more and satisfy them better.
Thank you, James. Thank you very much. And I think this brings us to Q&A time, because we talked already about what to do for those who want to launch a new program, who want to revamp, and what are the future trends and strategies that we discovered in this report. So I would like to present the opportunity to you to ask questions. And there are so many questions already. That's amazing. And there are a couple of names that you really know and like. I'm just so happy about this. So on your right, there is this GoToWebinar panel. And then if you click on the questions, then this is your time to type these questions in. I let James and Andreanne familiarize themselves with the questions now, and we can start answering those. But just to let you know, for those who missed it, you are receiving the digital version of this report now, because my colleagues are sending it out to all the 1,500 people who registered on this webinar. So you will be able to open it and see it for yourself. I'm just so in love even with the cover. And then, I don't know, James and Andreanne, if you knew this, but this cover was also partly inspired by the bike, which is behind me. And it is our graphic designer, Hulta, that it would be a nice idea to have the astronaut, which is a recurring actor in our global customer loyalty report, to sit on that bike. I would also like to ask my colleague Barbara to send these QR codes in the chat here on the right. Oh yes, thank you very much. You already found that, because if you would like to, James, Andreanne, and myself, we are happy to hop on a call with you. Of course, if you could describe a bit about why. So we included our Calendly link over there. If there is any way that we could help you, Barbara also included the LinkedIn profiles of ours. So if you wanted, please connect with us. Okay, so now this is my time to go into the questions. Give me a second, I will just pull them up. All right, so the first one, how do you estimate the additional income? And then maybe James, you could answer this. How do you estimate the additional income that a loyalty program will bring to a business's balance sheet? So we are talking about ROI, a very big topic. James.
I mean, there's a lot here, but it goes back to something that Andreanne said earlier on. It's all around the business case. And I think where we often start is we think around the big picture. What are we trying to solve for customers? And then we start thinking around what are the individual benefits that we can offer? And then we also want to think around how much are we willing to invest? Is this a full relaunch of a proposition, or is this just small tweaks because we've got something bigger planned down the line? Or actually right now, we're not sure where we want to focus our attention. So let's just do a little bit with the data that we have sort of at our fingertips. And it's then thinking around which of these benefits are going to help drive engagement or revenue or whatever that target is with customers, and then thinking also what is the cost to the business. We often use things like conjoint analysis, where we have a number of different benefits that we combine. We do user research with large volumes of individuals, and from that you can start to decipher which are the key benefits that are really going to drive the particular OKR that you're focused towards. And then it is that business case analysis behind the scenes of which ones can I really offer to people based on the organizational structure. I've had conversations before of free delivery, for instance, but actually the distribution network of the organization just isn't in a position to offer free delivery. And actually, although it might be something that customers really want, it just doesn't make sense for the business. So sometimes you have to make those hard decisions, but ultimately putting it all down, using user research to really understand what it is that's going to drive the engagement or the revenue, whatever it is, those KPIs and OKRs that you're looking for, and then doing the cost benefit analysis from yourself as a business, and then coming up with what ultimately you're going to invest into that to try and achieve those ROI figures.
The next question is related to costs, which is like very similar to this topic about the ROI. And Andreanne, it would be lovely if you could answer this one. How do you estimate its costs apart from the standard costs, such as technical development, maintenance, marketing, CRM teams, salaries, and so on? If it is a loyalty program, which main benefit for the customer is additional product discounts, like coupons and discounts. So the question is about cost estimation.
Cost estimation, yeah. Well, there was already a pretty good list, I think, in the question about a list of potential costs for implementing and managing the loyalty program. So I think that's a good place to start. But we talked about processes earlier, and I think that's a good place to start. Definitely, like some business processes will be impacted by the launch of a loyalty program, and we often like underestimate the cost of these changes in the processes. Obviously, we think of it as a technical implementation, but there's much more than that, depending on what type of rewards you'll be offering. So you need to definitely like take the time to go deep dive into your requirements to understand what it will impact. So initially, I think estimating the cost is also very an exercise that it's not like you're done and then you go to the next phase. You'll probably most likely do like a ballpark estimate, research you'll do, the requirements you'll define. As your strategy is being defined and confirmed as well, the requirements are defined and confirmed, you can actually refine the associated costs because the ROI forecast will continue to evolve and be refined over time. So it's a long-term exercise, and you probably keep doing it even because you have a roadmap and you have future vision for future as well. So it's an exercise it's an ongoing exercise that needs to be done. But we can definitely like, it's a very complex exercise to define all the costs. So I think we can probably follow up as well if there's additional question related to this.
Okay, thank you, Andreanne. And then also I'd like to ask my colleague Barbara behind the scenes that we have a great guide and with spreadsheets about this topic, ROI and then costs and so on. If you could link it here, it would be very nice. And next question is, what is the best way to get management buy-in and see the value of developing CRM and loyalty in a company? So we just talked about this, we partly answered this, but I would like to emphasize, go into this report, see the executive summary, and you can even screenshot actual charts. That's the whole idea of you accessing the digital version of this report that should already be actually in your mailbox. There is another question from Tom. How do I get a copy of the 24 Global Customer Loyalty Report? It's likely in your mailbox already. If not, it will arrive in the next 5 minutes or so. So you can access it. It's like almost 80 pages. And that's the answer. So Andreanne, it's a question for you. What is the difference between micro-targeting and personalization? It's like, you know, you are in a hot seat. You need to be very smart about what you answer now. So what is the difference between micro-targeting and personalization?
Yeah, so personalization is a very broad concept. I don't want to say that if I say, hi, Andreanne, it's personalization, but to some extent, it is personalization. You know, it's addressing people by their name, by their preferences, all of it. When we talk about micro-targeting, it's micro, so you need to think about very small segments and high level of data as well. So you need to understand, obviously, the pattern in terms of purchasing, in terms of shopping behaviors, tracking behaviors when they shop online as well, what they purchase, but not only what they purchase, but what they see, what they like, what they browse. You have interest that can came into this. So the idea is to take as much data as possible that you have in terms of customer knowledge and build insight from that, and then create small segments to be very, very relevant in terms of what experience, what reward, what messages, what offer you want to provide. We need to think of it like small segments, very targeted, very relevant in terms of content.
Thank you, Adrienne. By the way, this question was coming from an author who actually wrote a book on personalization. He's Rasmus Holbein, so I can understand why he has this question. The next one is about what are the industry standards for retention in retail? So at a couple of places, we inserted industry-specific numbers into this report, but we can do more, actually, if I'm thinking about it. And I would like to ask you people on this call, if you are interested in these retail numbers, please send us, how to do that? Not a chat message, but here in this little window, which is about questions, just insert retail. And then this way we will know that we will follow up with these numbers with you, because we can do even more industry specific analysis and then compare the retail to the general, all kinds of loyalty program benchmarks. All right. Which one I choose, because there are so many. Okay. Francis is asking James. James, this is for you. How Europe is different in terms of loyalty strategy? And I'm asking you, James, because at VML, you must see many things, as VML is a global company, especially now that you are VML from Wunderman Thompson, based company. How Europe is different in terms of loyalty strategy?
I mean, there's a huge amount of nuancing even within the markets in Europe, and then how that changes when you then think of US and other markets. I think, for instance, in the UK at the moment, we're seeing this big thing around sort of essential membership. We've already mentioned prep. We've mentioned, well, thinking around a lot of the supermarkets as well. There's a real emphasis on the differentiation between member pricing and non-member pricing. And there's actually a big conversation, which is almost sort of polarizing different audiences in their opinions at the moment. I think Europe, again, when we've done work previously, particularly around emotional loyalty programs, there's a huge amount of deviation between what drives engagement. We were actually doing something in sort of a space of how do we support parents with children in giving them activities that they feel comfortable with their children doing whilst they're, I don't know, making dinner or doing the washing or whatever it might be. And there was a huge amount of variation between sort of Germany, where it was all around learning. UK, it was much more around just having something that was really engaging, and you knew that you could give it to them for 20 minutes, but that was also safe. Again, it's very nuanced to that particular client, but I think there's always nuances between markets, and I think that's something that user research is often really helpful at understanding. And again, Andreanne will know this more from sort of the North American market, but again, I think there's quite a big shift in consumer behavior generally in the US and in Canada and so on, in comparison to Europe, and the types of brands that we purchase from. Again, going back to sort of the supermarket space, the way in which we shop now is very, very different. And I think, again, when I even just look at the companies within those different markets and the types of loyalty programs that they have, they are vastly different. So I think with Europe specifically, we're seeing a lot around gamification, a lot around technology, a lot around the emotional push. And then I think there's a much greater nuance once you get sort of dive deeper into each of the individual markets. But user research, I would say, is the best way to start to uncover those key trends.
Thank you, James. Someone is asking, which type of companies did the 600 answers, B2B or B2C? And then what are the sizes of the companies? Well, it's mainly B2C, and there are a couple of B2B. And then at the end of the report, we included a demography, which details survey demographics, which details like the who is who of who answered these questions. There is one more around technology. James, it's addressed to you, James. And this is our last question, and after that we will go into the demo. For clients, MarTech selection is quite a challenge. Looking at martechmap.com, the CRM category lists some like 500 different vendors. How to pick the right solution that fits your needs? And of course, you will answer this question, but I would say choose Antavo, the company that I'm co-founder of, because we are a loyalty management platform. I will let James to give you a less biased answer.
Oh, I thought that was the answer. But no, I think, and Andreanne picked this up a little bit earlier as well. I think it all goes back to what is the problem you're trying to solve for your customers? And then thinking around more holistically, what do you want to then offer them? And then it's also that sort of working backwards. And as I said, technology is not the only thing that enables you to launch and create that program, but it is a key enabler. And so once you start to think of what is it that I want to solve for my customers, how do I then start to solve that for them through different benefits and different mechanics? And then thinking around what is the right technology platform that can support me on this journey. Antavo being one of the front runners is a fantastic platform. But again, it's what works for your organization. You might already have legacy systems that you can build on top of. I think what we found a lot of over the last few years is that those legacy systems really do need to be reviewed and assessed, because a lot of them don't give you the flexibility for some of the sort of the more modern trends that we're seeing within the market. So I would say work backwards from the problem to solve for the customers, but then ensure that technology plays that pivotal role in being an enabling function and not a blocker when you sort of start to build that loyalty program.
Thank you, James. This is the last question that we could answer, but if you wanted, keep asking your questions. We will reply every single one in email, and also we are open to connect with you either on LinkedIn or through this little Calendly link. Some of the people asked, like, I checked, I didn't get the 24 report, maybe you skipped me. I don't think I'm sure that we haven't skipped you because we sent it out to all the 1,500 people who registered to this webinar. Maybe it can happen that the sending is still in progress, or sometimes it happens that it's in your junk folder. So please do check your junk folder. Now I'd like to invite my colleague, Joe Denter, to join us, because this is the time to do just like a 5-minute Antavo introduction. Maybe I was over enthusiastic with my clicking because I just wanted to come to this slide. So hi, Joe.
Hi, Zsuzsa, and hi everyone on the call, and thanks for such a great session and so far, and some brilliant questions actually in the chat box today. So really excited to meet you. Hello everyone, I'm Joe. I'm one of the commercial leads at Antavo, and to end the webinar today, we've prepared a short 5-minute overview of how the Antavo loyalty engine can help you take your loyalty program to the next level. So to start, a little bit about Antavo as a company. So we are a headless pure play loyalty engine, and we're incredibly proud to be recognized as one of the best in class under this category by both Gartner and Forrester. We're a global team with clients across North America, EMEA, and the APAC region, with the majority of our team being based within EMEA. And introducing the platform itself, we have built a no-code loyalty workflow editor, which you can see in the back image here, that allows brands to create and manage their programs through a simple drag and drop interface. So from omni-channel right through to gamification capabilities, the Antavo platform allows you to build a loyalty program that can engage your customers, whether it be online or offline. From an implementation perspective, we take an API-centric approach, which allows us to easily integrate with your existing technology stack. This includes enriching loyalty-related customer data within your CRM CDP, improving the customer experience with registration and earn and burn via your e-commerce and POS system. And most importantly, we can integrate with your marketing automation platform, allowing you to communicate information like reward redemption and tier upgrades all in real time. I'm happy to say that Antavo is recommended and works with a wide range of agencies and technology vendors to support each of our customers' existing partnerships and ensuring the best possible experience for both internal teams and external stakeholders. So the big question, why choose to work with Antavo? As a headless loyalty solution, Antavo provides you full ownership and control of the front end, so you can create a compelling loyalty UI experience for your members. Our platform allows you to reward transactional and non-transactional behaviors through a simple self-serve platform, ultimately allowing you to engage your customers outside of the buying cycle, whether that be online or offline. A great example is the multi-award winning work we have done with KFC. So KFC's program is incredibly innovative in that, counterintuitively, members have to spend money at the restaurants to get access to fun games within the KFC app. Downloads of the app went through the roof, and KFC saw app engagement like nothing they'd ever seen before, allowing them to create long-term emotional bonds with their members through an experience that ultimately they couldn't get elsewhere. Another customer, Brewdog's program, creates alignment between each member and the company values. So Brewdog's program has no points or tiers, but allows members to collect badges through online and offline challenges focused on ESG causes. They do a great job of using surveys and challenges within the program to help collect first-party data, which is helping them to create a more personalized experience for their customers. They even saw 400% higher purchase frequency for members who had collected a certain number of badges. But my personal favorite, and Zsuzsa mentioned them earlier in the call today, is the work we've done with Rip Curl, which actually was runner-up as Best Customer Experience at the International Loyalty Awards 2023. What I personally love about this program is that members link their accounts to their fitness tracker, and every wave they serve, they earn points to spend on the Rip Curl brand. An incredible example of how your brand can align with your consumer's lifestyle through non-transactional engagement. And all of these fantastic loyalty programs that we've mentioned have been brought to life through the power of the Antavo platform. So Antavo empowers program managers to fully create, manage, and scale the program through an easy-to-use drag-and-drop interface, ultimately enabling them to continually adapt to changing business needs and market dynamics. Department heads can use Antavo to track KPIs related to the loyalty program, build reports that can be used to shape long-term planning. And Antavo not only helps collect and manage the data that drives the insights that enhance the program, but has the capability to continually improve the loyalty program to meet changing customer expectations. So if you would like to find out a bit more about the Antavo platform or receive a demonstration of the platform itself, feel free to contact us via the details here. Or you can fill out a form on the Antavo website. We work with brands that have 10,000 members in the loyalty program, or right through to programs with millions of members. So we'd be happy to have a conversation regardless of the size and scope of your ambitions. But to end, I just wanted to thank you for the time, and hope you found this brief overview as well as the wider webinar very insightful, and look forward to connecting with you all soon. And I'd now like to hand back to Zsuzsa to conclude the webinar today. So thank you, Zsuzsa.
Thank you, Joe. Barbara, yes, please. That's what I wanted to ask from you. Barbara already inserted here. If you wanted to book a call with Joe, here is the link for that. And then, of course, you can also connect him with LinkedIn on LinkedIn. I just want to make sure that everyone receives the report. And then, Barbara, can you also link here the Google Drive link that we have? Because you are the first ones to learn about the report, and it should be in your inbox. But I just want to make sure that you can access it, because it will only launch tomorrow publicly. Now, this is like a preview for everyone on this call. So I hope that you can link it here into the chat. But this was basically it. Thank you very much for being here and celebrating with us to the launch of this global customer loyalty report. I bought some champagne. Unfortunately, if you're not here with me in this office, you can just think of the champagne and not drink it, but we will definitely drink it. Thank you very much, James, Adrienne, and Joe, for being here on this call. But I would like to thank the 1,500 people who signed up, because this is, all for you, to help you convince the right people in the organization, to help you to support your decisions. So thank you so much, and then see you online on LinkedIn, and then on these 15 minutes calls if you want it. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.